Reno, Nevada, known as the biggest little city in the world, is a vibrant city nestled near the Sierra Nevada mountains. It's famous for its casinos, proximity to Lake Tahoe, and outdoor recreation opportunities. Star Palumbo, a young woman who tragically disappeared in the early 2000s from Reno, where she reportedly struggled with personal challenges before her disappearance. Her mysterious case remains unsolved, adding a somber chapter to the city's history. 25-year-old Star Michelle Palumbo spent her early years in Tucson, Arizona, where she lived with her military family until 1999. In search of a new chapter in her life, she moved to Lockwood in Reno, Nevada, to live with her grandmother, after spending much of her childhood moving from state to state. Life in Reno brought new opportunities, and by the year 2000, Star had secured a job as a clerk at a local pawn shop in nearby Sparks. However, the pressures of life began to take a toll. Palumbo reportedly became entangled in drug use, specifically methamphetamine. This struggle marked a turning point in her life. Friends noted that her job's income was no longer sufficient to sustain her growing addiction. Faced with financial challenges after losing her job at the pawn shop in Sparks, authorities suspect Star may have turned to sex work in early 2000 as a way to support herself during this difficult period. She had moved out of her grandmother's home about a month prior to her disappearance, and her demeanour had completely changed. The Reno Gazette-Journal stated that, quote, "During those final weeks, Star Palumbo began to change from the steady, reliable woman into a paranoid, maybe delusional person, according to her mother Gail. Her paranoia had even convinced her that her roommate was an undercover cop. Star had written in her journal days prior to vanishing, and what she wrote was chilling. Quote, "I just found out that this world is made up of lies and deception, and I really feel robbed of my life. At this moment, I am alone and need help." Star's final days are shrouded in mystery and marked by a series of unsettling events. On April the 25th, 2000, she made a phone call to her mother Gail, during which she seemed unusually paranoid. Leading up to her disappearance, Star called her mother on a weekly basis, and up until the day she vanished, nothing appeared awry. During this particular exchange, Star expressed fears of being followed and claimed that her phone was being tapped. Despite her anxiety, Palumbo spoke of hope. She mentioned a desire to return home to Tucson in Arizona the following week and start anew, seeking a fresh beginning, but sadly she never did. She told her mother that she was ready to clean up her act, despite the mistakes that she had made, but sadly she never got the chance to. Later that night, in the early hours of April 26th, an officer at the Reno Tahoe International Airport encountered Palumbo in a restricted area of the facility, cowering near a truck. She was frightened and disorientated and claimed she was searching for her younger sister, who she said had run out onto the tarmac. Chillingly, the truth was that Star's younger sister was non-existent. The officer, however, believed she was possibly hallucinating and found no evidence to support her story. Despite her erratic behaviour, the officer in question offered Star a ride, dropping her off at the Reno Hilton Hotel and Casino at approximately 1:30 a.m. This is where Star was last seen. Witnesses spotted her near the hotel's valet parking area, but she never checked in, and from that moment on, she vanished without a trace. Star's disappearance took an even more disturbing turn when her abandoned vehicle was found illegally parked at Reno Tahoe International Airport on April the 27th, just one day after she was last seen. Inside the car, investigators uncovered troubling evidence. Most of the 25-year-old's personal belongings were still inside the car, including her purse containing $600 in cash and her cell phone. Police at the time believed that Star may have been living in her car, though there are no further reports to verify this. She was officially reported missing on May the 6th of 2000, 10 days after she was last seen by her grandmother, who told the police it was unusual for her to not contact her for such a prolonged period of time. Among the items left behind in the vehicle, police found 3 emails that Star had addressed to the White House, in which she expressed her belief that the federal government was trying to kill her. Even more chilling was a drawing of a woman matching Palumbo's description, bound and gagged. 2 books on changing identities were also found inside the vehicle, raising further questions about Star's state of mind and possible intentions prior to her disappearance. Months after she vanished, an intriguing lead emerged. In December 2000, the owner of the Silver Dollar Casino in Elko, Nevada, claimed to have seen Palumbo inside the establishment. According to the owner, the woman became visibly anxious when she noticed a man staring at her through the window. It was alleged by the owner of the casino that the woman told her that she was being hounded by a pimp. Shortly afterwards, she left the casino with another female. However, authorities were unable to confirm whether this sighting was indeed Star Palumbo, leaving this potential clue unresolved. In 2001, Reno Police Detective David Jenkins told the Reno Gazette-Journal, quote, "We are getting very little in the way of new leads. Nothing has changed. We still don't have a confirmed sighting of her since the day she was last seen walking into the Hilton." Piecing together Star's final known movements was somewhat difficult, as according to Sergeant Randy Saulnier of Reno PD, quote, 30 different people have been contacted, and they all have conflicting stories. Star's mother placed flyers all over Reno and back home in Tucson, but with little success. She kept in regular contact with Detective Jenkins regarding her daughter's case, and even spoke to psychics in the hopes that some crucial information would come to the fore regarding Star's vanishing. Gail Palumbo never gave up looking for her daughter. Quote, "If she is not alive, I would like to find her remains and bring her home. Of course, if she is alive, I want to see if I can help her and ask her what happened. At this point, I don't even care who did it. That is not important to me at all." As investigators pieced together the fragments of her story, foul play became the leading theory in Palumbo's case, despite many believing her behaviour was caused by a drug-induced psychosis. The abandoned car, the eerie contents within, and her final paranoid interactions paint a troubling picture of a woman seemingly on the run from unseen threats. There were unfounded rumours across the years indicating she died after getting mixed up in prostitution and drugs, and as a result of an overdose, her remains were discarded in the desert, but this is purely speculation. Star has never been found, though her friends feared she had plans to change her identity to evade those that she perhaps owed debts to. Whether she was successful in creating a new identity or not remains to be seen, as she has never been seen or heard from since the year 2000. It's unclear whether any of the people she owed money to were ever considered suspects in this case. Authorities have no evidence either way to suggest that Star is deceased or still alive. Star's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, a haunting reminder of how circumstances can spiral beyond comprehension, leaving behind only fragments of a story that may never fully be told. At the time of her disappearance, Star Michelle Palumbo was 25 years old. She is described as a Caucasian female with a light complexion, with brown hair and brown eyes, standing at 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighing approximately 115 pounds. She notably had a birthmark on the right side of her neck, and both of her ears were triple pierced. On the day she vanished, Star was wearing a black leather jacket, a white tank top, a pair of blue jeans, and a pair of boots. It should be noted that prior to her disappearance, Star may have developed a drug addiction, which may or may not have contributed to her disoriented state at the time she vanished. Sadly, her DNA, fingerprints, or dental records are unavailable for comparison. If alive today, she would be turning 50 years old in March of 2025. Those with any information regarding the disappearance of Star Palumbo are urged to contact Reno Police Department at 775-334-2155.